It's not worked, has it? Do you want me to stop it?
Hello and welcome to Front Row Racing World Championship Reserves. This is the feeder series to the World Championship, the no assists allowed league. So I am Front Row Racing GP. In the commentary box with me this evening, we have got some double Dutch for you. It is OVERDYKINK and Bleeding Sunrise. So main broadcaster is OVERDYKINK, and co-commentary will be myself and Bleeding Sunrise. So Dom, over to yourself.
Alright, thanks Steve, and welcome to this stream of Front Row Racing World Championship Reserves, as Steve just said. We're here for round 13 in Belgium, Spa Belgium, one of the nicest tracks on the calendar. And I'm joined today by Niels as well. So, hello Niels.
Yeah, hi, thank you, thanks for the invitation.
Alright, so without further ado, let's get the guys onto the track, I'd say. Or do you want me to do something else? Do you know what? That's a very good idea, Dave. We'll have a look, indeed, at the we'll have a look at the drivers here. In the Mercedes team, we've got Okan Kuze and Emre Ortil, the Turkish team. Then in the Ferrari, we've got Danny Railton, 1987, a new driver. So it'll be interesting to see what he can bring to this field. With Dave the Harp, an experienced league racer in the World Series, also taking part in the World Championship Reserves. In the Williams, we've got no one within the Red Bull, the World Series champion, the current one, Hindle. It'll be interesting to see how he gets on without assist. Now we've got Jason and Drew. I think they call the Thundercats team, or anything like that, so I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. And then we've got Sertac Karatepe and Erna Erçim in the McLaren, another Turkish team. And the only seat in the Manor is filled by another Turkish guy, Kerim Kaptan. So there you go.
So as we wait for the World Championship drivers just to fill up a few spaces on the grid, I believe we've got some news to let everybody basically know. Bleeding Sunrise, you were supposed to be taking part in this World Championship Reserves event, but would you like to explain to all the viewers why you are in the commentary box today and not on the circuit?
Yeah, I'm happy to explain. I've been invited to a permanent seat in the World Championship, and I'm happy to confirm that I'll be partnering up with Mr. Hamilton in the Red Bull racing team to score as many points as possible, at least until the end of the season, and after that we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, that team has got a good chance of taking the Constructors' Championship. Just needs you to keep scoring points there. I just want to ask Dom, what do you feel about having another countryman join Front Row Racing and now competing against you?
It's nice. I mean, I've been a part of this league for quite a while, and always been this sole Dutch guy. So it's nice to have a fellow countryman competing, and especially racing against him. It's very nice.
Okay, I can just see that we're getting a few extra guys coming into the lobby. We'll be filling those spaces up. Oh, we're not quite there yet. Okay, I'm just going to wait a couple more minutes. They are coming in. Yep, They're on their way. Because if we go too soon, it means they won't be able to qualify, and that's not really fair on them, is it? So I just want to apologise to the viewers. We did come on a little bit late. We've had a few technical issues today. Yeah, please bear with us. But Dom, we might as well use this time while we're waiting for the World Championship drivers to do a question of the day. What have you got for us?
Well, I've got this question. If you count the F1 2017 calendar, how many corners do they have combined?
Okay, now I could have a guess, and it would be a random guess, but what I want to know is, do you know the answer yourself?
Not yet, but I will inform you at the end of the race. But I've got a bit of time, so that'll be nice.
Yeah, so is that something you've asked your missus to have a count of? You've given us some track maps and say, count the corners.
You know, I might just do that.
Okay, I'll have a random guess. I'm going to go with 400. Probably way off, but there's my guess, 400. What do you reckon, Bleeding Sunrise? How many corners on the F1 calendar?
I think about 320, somewhere in that region.
I'm going to change my answer.
Oops.
I'm going to knock 2 zeros off. I'm going to say 4, because the calendar goes on the wall and it's square. So it has 4 corners.
Well, that's another way of interpreting the question, but it's not really the answer that I'm looking for. I'll tell you what, 4 is not the right answer.
Okay, I'm wrong then. So I'll stick with 400.
That's a good, nice interpretation of the question.
If it was DP asking the question, then yeah, I would have gone with 4. Right, yeah. Okay, I can see that DP's hit the button. So I'm going to hit ready as well. Let's get the guys over to the circuit. Just for the viewers, just to make you aware, you won't hear DP today. Our commentary team may hear him in our ears, but you will not be able to hear him. So he will probably be swearing at us when we say things we shouldn't be. And if you hear us laugh uncontrollably, it's probably because he's told us some information like, yeah, I'm not even going to go onto that subject today. So yeah, over to you, Dom, to introduce us onto the circuit.
Alright, I will, as we're about to start within 4 seconds. The track of Belgium, a track that's been on the calendar for very long, and that's also been changed quite a lot over the years. I know this track was quite a bit longer back in the 50s and 60s, but that's not anymore. So we'll just see how the guys get on. We've got 3 different tyre allocation preferences here. We've got the balance set that gives you 3 sets of super softs, 2 sets of softs and 1 set of mediums. If you go for the softer set, you're going to change one of them softs into super softs, so that leaves you 4 super softs and 1 set each of the softs and the mediums. And if you go for the harder set, you've got 2 sets of each, 2 softs, 2 super softs and 2 mediums.
Okay, also just noticing that the mandatory tyres here is the softs and the mediums, so that means they must run one of those 2 compounds. It doesn't mean you have to run both, does it?
No. As far as I'm concerned, well, I've done many races, and I've never had any problems with tyres. So I think it's going to be the softs and the mediums. Either one of them you have to use in the race. But if you use 2 different tyre compounds, you use either one. So yeah, that's not really a problem. The only thing you can't really do though is pit for super softs like 4 times. Let's have a look then at the weather for the qualifying. Qualifying weather is dry. Dry conditions and overcast, it says. And then we go on to the race, and it's very sunny for the race. We'll go on to the timing screen straight away and to the live TV feed as we see our own pit garage. So guys, any ideas on pit strategies then for this Grand Prix?
Well, well, for the raid, I might think a 1 stop is certainly possible. It should not be too hard. The only question is, how are you going to end the race? Try some super soft and 1 other tie to the end. Might be possible, might be not. We'll see in a bit.
Well, that's the thing, obviously, that you need to take into account choosing your pit strategy. I mean, you can go for the harder sets and pull off that 1 stop, but is it going to be faster than the guys on the 2 stop with the softer compounds? You see Stocky in the track, but we're not interested in Stocky as he is a full-time driver. You see a Mercedes and a Renault battling through Eau Rouge, with Roux winning that battle so far.
I'm trying to ask about the tyres. I noticed the qualifying session is going to be overcast and the race is going to be very hot. What effect does that have on the tyres? Can it cause people to do the two-stop rather than the one-stop?
Sorry.
In my experience, when it's really sunny, the tire wear is worse. So maybe you think now, well, I'm going to do a one-stop and then come to the race, and the tire wear is more than you expected from quali, and well, you might have yourself in a bit of a pickle.
Well, the thing that also, I mean, you need to take into account as well the tyre pressures that you put in. I mean, you can set up the tyres for pretty much every condition. It's colder, you obviously need to put a bit more tyre pressure on when it's hotter. So it'll be interesting to see what effect it has on the cars, and if we maybe see guys going for a two-stop, whereas you'd expect them to go for a one-stop. You see on the lap here.
Just to let you know what the situation is. Yes, we've noticed that you've mentioned on the YouTube chat there that the engine noise is maybe a touch loud over our voices. So we're just going to get Dom to tweak that a little bit, and hopefully that will help you hear us a little bit clearer, rather than a bit of an unofficial sound of these engines. Just trying to see who that. They do. Yeah, the cars do sound good. Just look and see who's starting a lap. Emma Orthel, he's starting a lap, Dom, and there's flying lap for Danny Rowton, new guy to front row racing. Not saying anything of him yet.
Well, I'm on board with Drew, the first guy to set a lap from the WCR drivers, as he posted 31.0 for the first sector. He's on the soft tyres though, so I don't think that's really that bad on the softs. But the thing as well on this track is you can go with high aeros and set a bad sector 1 and then absolutely obliterate the field in sector 2. So that will also be interesting to see what setup the guys go for. Do they go for high aeros, low aeros, high right height, low right height? It'll favour you on one sector, and it might give you a disadvantage in the second sector. So we'll see how it goes. As we are on board with
the DRS. Sorry.
Sorry, go on.
I was just asking about how powerful is the DRS. Is it easier to overtake here than other circuits?
I'd say it would, yeah. Obviously with that very long straight, and also if you get slipstream and DRS, an overtake is inevitable really on this track. So the question is whether you want to qualify at the front, because you know you're going to get swamped on that straight in the first lap. As we post a 50.0. In the second sector. Is that quick, Steve? Do you know any sector times for this track?
Well, what we're looking for normally is about a low 48, but Drew, a 50 through that middle sector would say to me he's running very low wings. That's why he might be a bit quicker in that last sector, which I've just seen him do a 29.0. So to me it says that he's running very skinny wings, that's why he's got a not so great time in sector 2.
No, indeed. But that might favour him in the race though, overtaking cars. As I'm on board with Danny Railton, who I think has backed out of his lap. He's on a 49.6. Or has he really backed out of his lap?
Oh no, I've been watching Danny Railton for a bit, and he didn't seem to back out of it. I've been watching him all up, and just seems to just gun it and see where he can get himself.
Yeah, I think I just got on board with him while he had a moment, so that's why I probably thought he was backing out of it as he goes around the last corner. Oh, he loses it on the last corner. There you go.
It.
That's the lap over for Danny Railton, as we see Tammy James in the Sauber passing him. Obviously a WC driver, so I'm not interested in any WC drivers in this event. As we see Emra Ortel passing the Ferrari of Danny Railton staying on the racing line. Emra Ortel currently in 7th, sector 1 41.5, and the second sector is a 58, so he's backed out of that lap. But let's see how he gets on in this lap as he goes through Eau Rouge. Always wide in Eau Rouge, and that's the lap time gone. He's lost it, and I hope the cars don't lose it and get terminal damage, because otherwise we'll have the sound glitch on this game, which is rather unfortunate. We'll get on board with another car, Dave the Hart.
Dave the Hart, yeah, he's on a good one. I saw him do his sector 1 of a 30.9. Looked pretty clean. But the sort of speed he was getting down that DRS straight would say to me he's got quite a lot of aeros on, so I'm expecting something in the high. Oh, I was going to say high 48s, but it's a 40. It's a 50.9. So not a great sector 2. So maybe the track hasn't come to the drivers yet, and the best time will be set later on in the session.
Yeah, come in here.
And I'm sorry, I was just watching Drew, and he was doing a lap. He got got a very good sector 1. He got not as good as sector 2, and then he just spun it around the last corner.
Oh yeah, see it on
Really
Dave Hart's screen. Yeah, there you go. As Dave Hart completes his lap, a 51.515. Now that puts him in a current 6th as he goes incredibly wide in the first corner. Steve, do you think it's worth doing 2 laps on the softs rather than 1 just to get the tyres warmed up, or do you think this lap is long enough to get away with that 1 lap?
It really depends on what strategy you want to go for. If you want to do the 1 stop, I would say you only really want to be doing the 1 lap. But what you could get away with is you've got to bring the car back to the pits anyway. Time it so that your second lap, you could kind of use it as a flying lap back to the pits, and if you're up on your time, accept it and cross the line and set the lap. But if it's not up, then don't bother setting it. You just pit. You just yeah. So if you're on a good one on your way into the pits, then you might as well complete the lap and set a better lap time. But you really only want to be doing 1 lap, in my opinion. I'm not always right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good strategy. I mean, the lap is a lot longer, so you have more time on your tire. So the effect of doing another lap is a bit bigger than normal, I think.
Yeah, but you also need to take into account, obviously, if you if the lap is longer, then you can go. You've got more time on your outrun as well to get the tyres warmed up. So yeah, we'll see what the drivers intend to do as Jason starts his flying lap. We'll get on board with him. Let's see how he takes the first corner, nice and tidy. Through I think it's called the Source, isn't it?
It is.
Alright, and there we go, up to Eau Rouge. You're going to take it flat out. There's a better looks of it. So what do we think of Jason? Has he been on this track in previous seasons? Steve, can you remember?
I'm trying my best to remember. He's normally gone reasonably well, but it's not necessarily one of his favourite circuits because he is known as Mr. Monaco,
yeah, I was going to say
which is obviously his favourite circuit. But a 30.5 sector 1 is only a couple of tenths off purple, so he could be on for a good lap here, Jason. And he is a very consistent driver.
He's lost it, and as we say that, he's lost it, and that is the sound glitch.
Yeah.
There you go. So apologies for that.
If you can switch to Okan Kuzi, he is coming up to the last corner. He had quite a good sector 1, sector 2, not too much, but he's a reserve driver and he comes over the line right now. Let's see what his time is. It's a 51 in 7th at the moment.
Yeah,
not as well.
On the super softs, maybe he was expecting a bit more, maybe he was put up a little bit towards the end of that lap. But just quick on Jason, I apologise Jason, I gave you the commentator's curse.
Right boys, I'm on board with Kerim Captain. He's on a 30.9 in the first sector. He's on the softs. Let's see what he does in this second sector as he looks up for this corner, the corner with no name, as I know from Dave in the previous events. There you go, nice lines, not on the throttle too early. I think the second sector measuring point is a couple of corners away through Pouillon then. I think flat out by the looks of it, but then you can't really hear it now because of this sound glitch where you can't really hear the engine. So this is a thing that would be nice of Codemasters to work on, but they've already said they were not going to update the game any further, which I think is a great shame because there is quite some glitches in this game, as Kerim Captain posts a 50.1 second sector.
Just looking on that sector, it's about a second off what's purple. Well, say second off. There is a couple of drivers from the World Championship that have set a time much faster. Yeah, from the World Championship reserve drivers, it's not too far off what the others have set.
Yeah, but then again, I mean, the World Championship being an official league, and if you compare the World Championship reserves to it, what would you call it? Would you really call it a race, for the drivers to practice on, or would you see it as an official league race?
The reserves, we always see it as an official event. Basically, yes, okay, the rules are not all in place, but we expect our league drivers to still adhere to them. And with the reserve drivers, they should be kind of taking this and trying to be doing the right thing to show they know what they should be doing. So yes, it is an official event in that way. It's a little bit more lenient.
Yeah, as Kerem Captain gone for another lap in a 30.5 this time, so quite a lot stronger than his last lap. As he goes through the corner with no name again. So, what do you think of this guy, Kerem Captain? What you've seen from him so far, Niels?
Well, I must admit that I haven't seen him too much. I think it's the first time I've seen him in this qualifying session, and well, he posts a number of laps, and he seems to be improving. Well, maybe he tends to go to the super soft later, and this is just a bit of a warm-up for him. But we'll see what he will do.
Yeah, obviously a lot of drivers in the World Championship and the World Series sometimes put banker laps in on the softs, just a lap time to aim for on the super softs. And then go for another fast lap later on in the session as the session's about to end. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Kerem Captain does go for another stint on the super softs, as he posted 49.9 in the second sector, where he really should be aiming for the 48 as I've heard from Steve.
He goes into the pits.
And he goes in indeed. So we'll get on board with someone else. Danny Railton, he's on a flyer.
Hindle out. Hindle's out on circuit as well, worth keeping an eye on.
We'll get on board with him in a moment, because Danny Railton is about to complete his lap with a 31.1 first sector, 53.7 second sector, and a final lap time of 1:54.2. So I think something's gone wrong for Danny Railton there in the second sector. As we now get on board with Hindle.
He's just starting his lap, I believe.
He's starting his lap indeed.
So there you go, yeah, Hindle. On his flying lap, talk us through it then, Dom.
Alright, as he goes through the source, he goes massively wide. That's not going to help his lap time. So slow on the exit as he now moves up to Eau Rouge. Hindle, obviously a known force to be reckoned with in the World Series with assists. But the question is, what can he show us without assists? As he takes Eau Rouge flat out by the looks of it, and then opens DRS onto the straight, and then into, I think, Lecombes. And I really should know this because I've been at this Grand Prix last year. He posted 31.6, so quite a bit off purple, but obviously we saw that mistake into the first lap. But we'll stay in first sector, sorry. We'll stay on board with him though for the second sector as he goes through the corner with no name as his car ghosts. He might have hit the pause button there, knowing his lap is. Oh, and there's a car on the racing line. Mercedes, not really knowing what the Mercedes is doing there. It's not really helped Hindle, but his lap wasn't the strongest anyway in this instance, so we might see him on for another lap. So we'll get on board with someone else. The Mercedes in question was Emre Ortil, as they both go wide into Puyol. That's hammer time. That's a full driver. Erna Urchim then completing his lap 30.4. Is that the quickest we've seen so far on the softs, Niels?
Well, let me have a quick look. Yeah, it is the softest one. Well, Certec Scaratepe is really well. They've mostly the same time. Sector 2 was a bit. Oh, he pits in. Okay. Yeah. Well, don't know what happened there.
Urchim, no,
it's quite a good lap. Maybe he wants to have enough time to go to the super soft and just binge this one.
Yeah. I'm on board with Drew then. He is on the super softs. I think Drew's done a lap on the softs earlier. I don't know the exact time, so I hope either Niels or Steve can inform me on that one. As he's
yeah, I'll keep a look on Drew and we'll inform you on this time.
Yes, thank you. So Drew then on the super softs. What can Drew do? Drew's a guy that has really improved over the last couple of races and over the whole season actually. Started off in the series at the beginning of this season and struggled quite a bit for pace as well as for racecraft, and he's improved both massively as he exited the last corner now. So let's see what Drew can do. Can he maybe snatch pole away or maybe a front row start for this event? As he goes through the source. Go on there, Steve.
Just to give you information, Drew's last lap that he set was on the soft tyre and it was a 1:50.1.
Alright then. Yeah, I can see the sector times now, 30.4, 50.2 on that lap and a 50.2 again. So we'll see how it goes in a super soft run.
And he is quickest in the speed trap, so that might say something about his setup.
Yeah, that's also something we need to look at. Oh, he's cut the corner and that's the lap time gone. 30.3 first sector, good sector time for Drew, but unfortunately turned in too early for the for Lecombes, and that is the lap time gone. We'll see what he does, what he posts for second sector time, just to see if it is still competitive or not. Sorry, what?
He may have locked his rear brakes as he went into that corner. I'm just wondering whether he downshifted a bit too early, and it just, or maybe one gear too many, which may have pivoted the rear end. But his time is still ticking away, which says to me it's not invalidated his lap, but it might affect his time. And his sector 1 was purple.
Yeah, and I just saw Hindle. He was on his second, sorry, his third sector, and he spun. Unfortunate for him.
Okay, that's
he's still in 12th at the moment.
I'm seeing his sector times a 49.4 in the second sector on the softs. Not a bad time at all. That does suggest, though, Hindle 9th quickest in the speed trap. So that does suggest that Hindle is running a high downforce setup as he picks it in. So that's Hindle's qualifying session over.
Yeah, he lost his front wing, so.
Seen something very interesting. Drew was just coming up to the bus stop chicane. He'd have been way up on his time because his purple sector 1 improved his second sector, gets to the bus stop chicane and near enough stops the car, parks it, has a look around and then drives into the pit lane. Opted to not set a time on the super soft tyre.
Yeah, might have seen that his time on the super soft wouldn't improve his position by that much, so he might have chosen to start on the softs, which I don't think is a bad idea, really. I mean, the softs more durable at the start. You might see the super soft runners pit very early. That's something that Drew might want to avoid, as I'm on board with Emre Ortel, and he sets a 30.7 in the first sector, so I think about 4/10 off purple, but we'll see how he does in the second sector, as he is the first quickest in the speed trap. Through Poo on then, as it knocks me off the timing screen, so I'll get on board with Emre Ortel, as Erna Erchim is on the lap as well. So if Emre Ortel does complete his lap, we'll get on board with Erna Erchim straight away. Emre Ortel then 13th place, so if he wouldn't complete his lap, he would be able to start on fresh tyres and pick the set that he wants. But we'll see if he chooses to complete his lap, and if he can't improve his position. It's very unfortunate that it kicks us out of the timing screen as soon as the timer hits 0. I know that for the next game they are looking into, I think, a spectator mode, if I'm correct, Steve.
It is a spectator mode, yeah. Unfortunately, we're now confined to the commentary box rather than the pit lane.
We look then, Emre Ortel, as he comes round the last corner to complete his lap, and he goes to 11th. That is a perfect position to start in, thinking that you can start fresh tyres. He's the first guy to do so, as we're on board with Erna Erchim in 5th at the moment on super soft tyres. And I'm not sure if he set his previous lap on the super soft as well. But we'll see if he completes the lap. It's looking quick though, from what I've seen though. As he goes round Blanchimont, it's an absolutely flat out corner. And the car is very nice and grippy, and that'll be partly due to the super soft, but also partly due to setup as he goes deep into the last corner, the bus stop chicane. And there you go then, Erna Erchim completing his lap, bit of oversteer but corrects it, and he goes into P4. And so there you have it, an interesting qualifying session with the top 3 all being permanent drives. And then we have Erna Erchim in 4th position as the first reserve driver, with Sertak Karatepe in 5th, Kerim Captain in 6th, Drew in 7th, Olkan Kuze in 9th. Yeah, I know. Then we've got David Harp in 10th, Emre Ortel in 11th, Danny Railton in 12th, Hindle in 13th, and GP in 14th. The lobby host, as I'm leaving this session now.
Yep. Don leaves the session so he can rejoin to make sure we get the start of the race, because it's a Codemasters thank you very much issue, shall we say. So yes, just to finish off, because you had my name out there in 14th. Behind me though, or I should say next to me along on the grid, is Jason, who unfortunately failed to get a qualifying time on the board because I gave him the commentator's curse. So just as I said, is a very consistent driver. He goes and puts it in the wall. What I would say is he's a very consistent driver most of the time, just not that time.
Well, I mean, Jason obviously tried to push the car, tried to get his car as far as the front, as far near the front as possible, to show what he can do without assists, and just lost the car. And it's a difficult corner, that corner with no name, because if you lose traction, you really lose it. There's no real way of correcting it into that corner, and you're off to the wall straight away. And it was terminal damage, unfortunately, for Jason.
Well, we're on the grid, Dom. We don't come back yet. Somebody has clicked race start, which is fine. They can do that. As soon as the formation lap has started. I shall let you know, and that'll be the time for you to rejoin. Bit of time yet. But just looking at the race strategy, it's telling me a two-stop, which surprises me because obviously I've not done a qualifying run, so I thought it would just give me a straightforward one-stop strategy, being obviously the quickest. But it's saying super softs onto the soft and onto the soft again. So it believes for me that that would be the quickest way. The lights have come on for the formation lap, and we're going to be moving shortly, Dom, so be prepared.
I'm prepared.
Just going to wait until we've got cars moving. With cars are now moving, so you are free.
All right, excuse us for the blue screen. I'll rejoin now. All right.
For the softs, and Jason has also opted softs as well. That surprises me because they could have opted for the medium, and that would be one way for them to have the biggest advantage of being on fresh tyres, in my opinion, is go for the hardest compound. But what do you think about that, Nils? Do you go for the hardest compound because you're behind 10th, or would soft be the better option?
Yeah, I will certainly go for the hardest tire. I found last night that the slipstream was pretty strong, and certainly at the beginning of the race you are never going to drive your fastest as you could do without anyone around you. So when you drive with different guys around you, you just go with each other, and it doesn't really matter what tire you're on, certainly for the first 3 or 4 laps.
Yeah, also, because you're obviously close to cars at the start of the race, if you're following somebody and you're on the harder tyre, they kind of pull you along, especially while you've got DRS and slipstream. You can keep with them when you're on a slightly slower tyre. So that's why I feel, I'm just surprised that nobody behind 10th place has gone for that hardest tyre. Unless, we'll say, I've done this before, that sometimes it says that they're on soft tyres. They may have changed it to medium, and it's not yet told me that they're on medium. So there may be that situation. Yep. So we'll have a look once the drivers get underway in the race as well. Dom, I believe you're back in the lobby spectating.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, back to you. You can crack on for me.
Well, they need to line up the grid first, obviously, Dave. No, sorry, Steve.
Don't you start.
I'm sorry, Steve.
Don't you start. That's as bad as DP, Dave, calling Tony Jason. I don't know. I just hope that Jason gets on the podium here, because I want to call him a razor. See what he says.
We don't favour any drivers though, Steve, do we? So,
No. Impartial, completely. Yeah, come on, Hindle. Yeah, so they're coming round, aren't they? Lining up.
For the reserve drivers, McLaren 1-2 on the grid. As the cars all line up, quite a few cars on the grid already, so quite a lot of collisions on the formation lap. I think about 5 or 6 cars were on the grid. As the lights are about to go out, I'm on board with DP, but I don't want to be on board with DP. Let's have a look then. 4 lights and 5 lights, and away we go with a great start from Stocky. But Stocky's not the guy we're interested in. We're interested in the guys behind it. The McLarens have got a great start. As a Mercedes goes for a complete dive bomb and nearly spins the car there. Let's have a look then. It is the leading car is Erna Erkenstill with Sertak Karatepe in 5th position. As they go up Orange, everything nice and cleanly by the looks of it, unless I've missed something, which I don't think I... Oh, a car, Mercedes goes off in the background, and I don't know who that is. That's going to be one of the Turkish guys, but which one, I am not fully aware of that. Let's have a look who that is. I think it's Emre Ortil.
It was Ukan Kuzi.
Ukan Kuzi. Emre Ortil also at the back though. So the Mercedes boys not having a great start at all. Let's have a look then at Ukan Kuzi. He's still got hold of his front wing. Surprised at that, to be honest, the speed he was moving at the barrier to. So we'll get back on board with the top pairing. We see Daniel Rielsen in 13th place. A bit of a slow start for Danny Rielsen, but he might just... oh, we see a Ferrari spinning there. That's David Hart. Get on board with David Hart then, as he's still got all parts of his wing. He does by the looks of it, but that's not going to help his tyres at all. Grass all over. What do we make of that first lap first, Steve?
Wow, yeah, he's looking very busy, and just watching Green Peptan, he's got, I believe it's Drew, just ahead of him. And Green is on the super soft tyre, and he really needs to be ahead of anybody
that's the position
needs to be ahead of anybody that's on the soft tyres. So Drew, on those soft tyres, he's in a good position at the moment. I'm just going to have a look to see if anybody did start.
That force in you. Oh, that's a full driver. That's Tempeh, the current world champion. As Drew goes deep into the last corner, and he cuts the corner. Then, as we see, the Red Bull of Hindle spin, I believe. Hindle clear the spin.
I'll check that. Only one driver started on the medium, and it was Tempeh, World Championship champion.
Yeah. You see, Drew nearly cutting off the manner of who is that? I think one of the surface guys. Go up more Rouge then Drew. Looking feisty, Drew. Well, that's nearly loses the car in Eau Rouge, the same way Magnussen did last season. He's getting together though, Drew. Is he going for a move up the inside of Tempeh? No, he thinks the better of it. Drew though on the soft tyres, and the guy he's battling with on the mediums. What do you make of that, Niels?
Well, I'm going through the grid. I was watching Ocon Kuzi pitting from super soft to the soft. He could have gone for the mediums to see if he can just strap it on and see where he can get himself a clear air. And at the meantime, I was watching all the grid, and well, where I was watching, nobody was fighting, to be honest.
I can just fill you in on some information, and that is Hindle didn't pit. It was his teammate in this event, which was Amatime 95. So we're not bothered about him.
Yeah, I'm on board with Hindle now as well. He's quite far back though. It says 16.6 seconds of the lead, but I think that's more. So I don't know what's happened to Hindle. He's on the soft compound. As I've just been informed, he's been in a crash with Dave the Hart, as he is 18.7 seconds of the lead now, so he lost the 2 seconds, as I believe we see Dave there in front of him. So Hindle, not a very good start. Do you think he can catch up though and work his way through the field, Niels?
Well, he might be. We know he is a fast driver. Oh, Drew, he spun on the after the first corner, but he managed to catch it at the last very second. It was almost like Verstappen at Brazil. At the last second, he managed to avoid the guardrail, and he is continuing his way from 8th position.
So there we go. Drew in the 7th position. He's showing here behind the Manor.
Oh, right.
As he goes through Eau Rouge again. He's not looking as strong through Eau Rouge. He keeps nearly losing the car through there, so I don't know if that is set up wise. He's going for a move on the Manor then. Yeah. Round the outside. Can he make this stick though? That's 2 cars ghost. What a brilliant move there by Drew. In P7 as we see a Force India there. And that is Tempeh. Tempeh has spun the car or crashed. We don't know and we don't care in this event, because this event is all about the WCR drivers. As we see Drew then gaining a position and now up to P6.
Great overtake by Drew there. Yes, he had the DRS, but also being able to brake that late on the hard of the 2 compounds.
I have to break you. Anna Urchin in 4th place, well, 2nd for him. He's in a big fight, 4P4 with Jamie James, and well, they're looking pretty feisty. They're going wide both for a bit, but we have to see what happened on the DRS straight.
Well, I mean, for Anna Urchin, being one of the main reserve drivers, he's got a couple of reserve drives already in the World Championship, a couple of appearances, and it'll be interesting to see how he holds on against Jamie James, one of the I think most experienced drivers on the grid at this point.
Yeah, I've raced with Anna Urchin for a bit. He's a clean, fast driver, and I'm sure he's going to manage the fight just fine.
Let's have a look. I think Drew may have just had internet connection problems. He unfortunately has left the event. If that was a league event, as in the World Series or the World Championship, that'd be his race over.
That's unfortunate for Drew then. Drew known for having problems with his internet connection. I'm on board with Erna Urchin indeed, Steve. Yeah. As he's under pressure by Jamie James, who's I think passed it before the DRS actually opens. So a great move there by Jamie James, but we're not interested in Jamie James, as I just said. Let's have a look at what Erna Urchin's going to do though. He's going to try and back up the inside. He's not. He's thought the better of it. So for Erna Urchin now, I think he needs to settle in this lap and try and go for a move into the next lap then. Let's have a a look then further down the field. This battle is settling down a little bit. As you see, Drew's car indeed ghosting. So unfortunate for Drew. Danny Reelton, after a sloppy start, back up to P6. But I think
Jason is into the pits. Jason is into the pits on his soft tires. He's 1 minute behind the lead at the moment, and well, he is on soft tires, so it might be a bit early for a regular stop. He's going into the onto the medium, so he's trying to get awful lot farther into the race.
Well, he's retired on my screen, so
yeah, I lost him.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
He said he's retired. Yeah, so he's already pulled into the pits to retire from the event. Obviously, not going according to plan for him. I've just been watching Sergio Caratape, who's currently sat in 3rd place. He's the leading reserve driver at the moment, looking extremely comfortable at the moment. Please don't give him the commentator's curse. Is holding a similar sort of gap between the leader, which is Stocky, the World Championship driver. So similar pace to, Jamie James going to the pits. See what happens there with Erna when he decides to pit, see if he's an undercut. So Sergio Caratape though, looking quite strong in his current position. So yeah, the reserve driver there. So you were saying that Erna Ertram is a, I'm trying to think of the right way to explain this. He's done quite a few reserve drives. Sergio Caratape's done a couple now as well, and yeah, those two, difficult to pick one ahead of the other. I would say at the moment, but Erna Ertram and Sergio Caratape, both strong drivers.
Yeah, I see Sergio Caratape driving around now. His car's looking very, very stable, very good on traction. Looks really planted, and as you just said, he's not losing any time to the leader, which is really good. And I think Stocky, what tires is he on? Can you look for me?
I'll have a look.
I'm going to the race director right now.
Stocky is on the super softs, so his tyres will be starting to go off at the moment.
Yeah. So Sergio Caratape on the softs. So this might be the point then where the softs are stronger than the super softs. Then I would say then, Steve.
Yeah, it looks like the crossover point is going to be lap 5 for the tyre compounds.
Looking
this
very
is
good
where
then for Sertac.
Oh, Temfer lost his front wing.
That's
he's a World Championship driver, we don't care.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, we don't care.
Sorry, got excited.
In this event. I know, obviously, with you getting your seat this week, you're still getting used to it, and we're not interested in World Championship drivers. So you, me, Dave, in previous events, we're not interested in them. So
no.
As you see, Erna Ertram.
What is it like?
Go on.
Sorry, I just want to ask Nils, what is it like looking at this World Championship Reserve event, and you're not taking part in it now, and you're seeing these guys from a third person kind of point of view?
Breaking up, Steve. Erna Ertram into the pits. So it'll be interesting to see what he does here. Is he going for the softs, or is he going for the mediums, or maybe another set of super softs to be able to battle with Jamie James? We'll have a quick look what Jamie James is on, what size he is on. Oh, he's on the mediums, but he's already passed.
Yeah, so Nils, what is it like watching this event and commentating on it compared to taking part?
Yeah, obviously driving is a lot of fun. This is really fun as well. But in regards to the promotion, yeah, I like seeing them drive. I mean, they're really good drivers, and as a sportsman, I also really like to watch the others. But it's good to see these guys competing and try to get into the championship as well. It's really fun to watch and commentate on it.
I'm on board with
what tyres? What tyres did he put on?
He put on mediums, so but he's lost quite a lot of time to Jamie James. So I don't know if something happened with Erna Ertram in this in lap. But I don't know how far.
I have to break you up, Hindle in 4th. He's having a big battle with Danny Reelton, the new driver.
So let's have a look.
They were really close to each other, but Danny Reelton got into his dirty air around I think it's Blanchimont, I can't remember, but they got very close. Yeah. But I imagine on the next straight bit they will come up close again, and I imagine Danny Reelton is going to try and overtake.
Well, we know, obviously, as Jamie James retires from the session, we know that Hindle is probably running a high downforce setup, and you can see it as well as Danny Reelton really gets up close behind Hindle here through Blanchimont and out into the bus stop chicane. Is he going to go for a move? Hindle goes defensive, and Danny Railton can't make it past. Hindle goes deep though to fend that off. Obviously not used to not having ABS, I think. Danny Railton now into his slipstream. I don't think he's going to go for the move into turn 1. He's going to leave it to Eau Rouge, which I think is better.
Yeah, might be a wise decision to leave it to Hanger Straight.
Is it the Hanger Straight or is it the Camel Straight?
Yeah, I think so.
Camel
yeah.
Straight.
Oh yeah, that's Silverstone. Sorry.
We've already had round 9 or 10 or whatever it is, as Hindle now goes onto the Camel Straight with Danny Railton right behind him. Then with DRS open, Hindle goes defensive and then goes, well, I'd say undefensive after that, after he saw Danny Railton was not able to make the move. And I think this battle is about to settle down. And Hindle's going to break away from him in the corners with his high downforce.
I've seen something on the race directors that I've not seen before, and I'm wondering whether it's something to do with this circuit. Maybe somebody will be able to answer this. Maybe even a YouTube comment might be able to answer this. One of the drivers has had a stop-go penalty for corner cutting. Didn't know it did that.
No,
was it track specific?
Yeah, I've got that one before. It's it only happens if you cut a specific corner really badly, like the chicane after Camel Straight. I can imagine they put it in there, but indeed it isn't a regular penalty for corner cutting, but it happens.
Okay. We've got Hindle and Danny Railton.
Danny Railton is past him. Hindle is past it before Blanchimont. There you go then, Danny Railton. I said this battle was going to settle down, but it's clearly not, as Hindle now is behind Danny Railton, who goes deep, and Hindle keeping it together quite nicely, as now Hindle is the attacking force, and Danny Railton needs to defend. It's nice to see it from Danny Railton. It's good to prove himself against the World Series champion, and good to prove himself in these two different situations, attacking the previous laps, and now let's see what he can do defending.
Yeah, I can't imagine how his concentration is at the moment. I mean, he's the new driver, and well, you kind of know who the fast guys are, and well, having that Red Bull Pumera is certainly terrific.
Before the DRS opens, and there you go. Then Hindle good straight line speed with the DRS, but not very good though. He's not really breaking away from him as far as I would think he did. Got Danny Railton then right behind Hindle. I don't think he's really going to go for a move anywhere here. So we're going to go with another car. So the Mercedes is being close in the battle as Ocon Kuze has made his way past. I think that is no Surtac from the McLaren. No, Surtac from the McLaren, so that can be. I think it's Emre Ortil.
Surtac is under pressure from Stocky. Stocky's getting a bit of lag.
Danny Railton just passed. Hindle. Hindle went wide on the I can't remember the corner, but we go left downhill, and Hindle just went wide and he passed him.
Okay.
It's a really cheeky move.
I keep moving away from the battle, and as I move away, they overtake each other. So,
yeah, I will keep a look on it.
Great stuff from both Danny Railton and Hindle. Danny Railton at the moment is getting the better of Hindle. Hindle losing time now.
Surtac was battling with Stocky up near the lead or for the lead, and he's gone for the pit lane now.
No, he's not. He's very early. Oh, Danny Railton's gone really deep, and there you go. Hindle free position though, but Danny Railton will have DRS for his next two straights, I believe, as the man behind him is closing up as well. I believe that is that Ocon Kuze?
That's, I don't know. No, you're looking right. But Surtac has just come out of the pit still in third place. Surtac still in third place, having done his pit stop.
Hindle's really breaking away from Danny Railton now. Let's see, does he have DRS? Can he close the gap on this straight? No, he can't, which means he's not got DRS.
Yeah, now even the manor is close enough for DRS, so yeah, you even have to worry about defending now.
That'll be an interesting battle to keep an eye on. I do want to have a look at other cars around though. Ocon Kuze in the Mercedes, going to battle with the Red Bull, so that is hammer time, I believe. Both on the soft. Alright guys, I'll keep an eye on this battle. If you can have a look around, if there's anything else happening. on the track, with Hindle, Danny Wilson and with more cars. Let's have a look then how Okan Kuze can defend. Will he be the sitting duck, or will he go to the inside and defend his position for dear life? Well, Hammer Time's not really close to go for the move. Okan Kuze stays in ninth at the moment. Ooh, Hammer Time's gone deep. That's not favoured. Hammer Time will jump on board with another battle then. We'll see how it's going with Hindle. Not really got a car close, but behind that though, Danny Railton being under pressure from the manner of Kerim Captain. Hindle pits, Hindle's in the pits, and Kerim Captain is into the pits as well. So let's get on board with them and see what tires they're going to put on. Hindle's retired from the session, so I don't know why he's done that. If you want to prove yourself, you shouldn't retire really. Let's get on board with Kerim Captain then, as he pits on the softs, and Hindle leaves.
Well, it could have left for many different reasons.
That could have been for many different reasons.
It may not be to do with what's happening on the circuit. It could be personal reasons, we just don't know.
So Kerim Captain just put on the medium tires. Well, he might as well be able to go to the end. Do you think it's possible, guys?
Yeah, well, I think he's just done 10 laps on the soft, so I mean 12 laps on the mediums, it shouldn't really be a struggle. No, it really should be doable.
The information I've got is the medium should be 15 laps. So yeah.
So even when the race ends, he can still do another 3 if he wants to. I'll get on board though with the Mercedes guys, Okan Kuze and Embra Auto still being close. And Hammer Time, I don't see him anywhere between them anymore, so I don't know whether Hammer Time's passed the ball or whether he's pitted. Or,
Dave the Hart's just spun it at the corner of 9-8. He's trying to reverse and sort it out. He's spun it again. It looks like he's showing off to the crowd at the moment. He's doing a couple of donuts and now he's on his way again. I don't think that was deliberate though. So yeah. He hasn't pitted yet, so those tyres will be absolutely toast. Those tyres, they should do 12 laps, but if he's qualified on them, it means he's probably gone about 13 laps on them by now.
This might be the way to pit. And he does. And now it might be interesting to see if the other guy just got a bit of a jump on him on his fresh new medium tires.
I'm having a look at Serta Karatepe still, nice and comfortable in P3. Not as close to the lead though as he was earlier. It was 10 seconds earlier, now it's 20.8 seconds, so he is losing time. But then again, he might be on a different strategy.
Danny Railton is just exiting the pits.
Okay. Yeah, he is. He's on the mediums. And Danny Railton coming back out in 6th position.
And Kerim Captain just had a jump on him on this last lap. He must have had a really good outlap because he's miles ahead.
Either that or Danny Railton has messed up his inlap. That's a possibility as well. But this will be interesting to see though, whether Danny Railton will be able to catch up with Kerim Captain being on fresher tyres.
Yeah, don't forget as well, he may have had a longer pit stop for a change of front wing if we've had a bit of contact that we've not seen. So there's also that possibility.
On board with Emra Auto then. We've not really seen much as I think that's Peter Harp out of the pits behind Emra Auto, and Peter Harp I think is pitted from mediums. So this will be interesting to see as well. I think Emra Auto and Emra Auto goes really wide. You don't want to be doing that in league races, pal. Emra Auto, I think he pitted for softs quite a while ago. To be honest, I don't know if he's pitted anyway. As he goes wide again, he's really struggling on his tyres from what I'm seeing. And he's losing time to his teammates for this event as well. Okan Kuze looks up into this corner again. David Hart then should be able to close this gap, and after that it'll be interesting to see whether he can get past or not.
Not Okan Kuze, sorry. Emma also looking at his lap times. There's not a lap there that would suggest that he's been in the pits yet. So I would say that he hasn't pitted yet. So yeah, he's gone to his 11th lap on the soft tyres.
So that'll be interesting to see then what Emma Auto's going to do. He's losing a lot of time though to do half on fresh mediums. And at this point, what do you think would be the wise thing to do for Emerald Auto? Pit now for mediums, or stick out those couple of laps more and go for the super softs?
I'll let Nels answer that one.
Well,
oh, it's a slow Merc, yeah indeed, it's a slow Merc, hold on, we'll get on board with him. That's Okan Kuze, and I believe that is a puncture front left. We'll get on board with it, that is indeed a puncture, so that might be the sign for Emerald Auto. As you was about to mention, that might be the sign for Emerald Auto to pit, and he does on the soft end. Emerald Auto into the pits, and it'll be interesting to see what he does with his tyres. Is he going to go for the mediums? Very likely. I don't think he's going to go for the super softs, if he's just always come past you, have a puncture on the softs, and he does indeed pit for mediums, as obviously Okan Kuze pits as well, and also pitting the mediums on, I believe. Or is he? And always puts another set of softs on. So
That's surprising.
I don't know if Okan Kuze is aware about the rule that you need to run 2 different sets of tyres in the race.
It surprised me that he put the softs on, unless it's a visual glitch when he leaves the pit lane. It might show you a different set, or he just forgot to change it and tell it what he wanted.
It's being run by one roadrunner. There you go, lets him pass nicely. It's also something we find very nice to see in these events, because obviously with the reserve drivers, they also need to show that they're able to and capable to let the faster guys pass when they're getting lapped. Because obviously we don't want to see. Sorry, what?
You said the pasta guys.
Well, the pasta guy, the faster guy.
Yeah.
No, I mean the faster guy. Yeah, so that's something that is very nice to see from Okan Kuze, as I believe he did get caught in an incident last week, similar incident where it didn't go that nicely. Is that correct, Steve?
I can't recall.
Alright, so well, if it is a definite improvement here.
John, while you watch what you're watching, I'll have a quick read through of the order, let you know who's in what position.
Yep.
So, in first place, World Championship driver, we're not bothered. Second place, World Championship driver, we're not bothered. Third place is the leading reserve driver, Sertek Karatepe. In fourth is Erna Urchin. Fifth, Kareem Kaptan. Sixth, Danny Rowton. Seventh is World Championship driver. Eighth, Dave the Hart. Ninth, Emma Ortle. 10th, Okan Kuze. 11th is Drew's AI card, because he's got disconnected, unfortunately. Everybody stopped. Yeah. And looking down the list, we've got the DNFs of Hindle, who's retired from the event, Jason, who retired, and the other retirees are World Championship drivers.
So we see Erna Urchin here. We'll get on board with another guy then. We see a World Championship driver here, Hammer Time, in 7th. So if we look at the World Championship drivers, and I know we're not bothered about them, but what does this session mean for the World Championship drivers? I mean, what does it mean for them, Niels and Steve?
Yeah, if I can answer that. I've previously been a World Series driver before, and I've been in this session with other reserves. For me, mostly it was about trying a strategy, and if you have a strategy that you're not sure of, and if it doesn't work, you already know that, so you don't have to try it in the actual race. And well, it's also a nice way to get a good feeling for the track in the 22 laps that you kind of live here.
No. Well, I think they also go on, Steve.
I was just going to say, from the driver's perspective, I like to look at these events or take part in these events and try and get an idea of what they're like, what the reserves are like, to drive wheel to wheel with. So that if you need to pick a reserve driver, you know which ones are likely to bring you if you're seeing the point frame. So yeah.
Well, it always is nice to see. It is nice to see the WC drivers racing against the WCR drivers. It's nice to see as well for the WCR boys how they behave in battles with the actual league drivers. So let's have a look then at a couple of cars. Ocon Kuze still chasing that. Oh, is that a McLaren? So that means Ocon Kuze's lapped. And this is Stocky still running solely in the lead, with I think Roadrunner behind him, but quite far back. So let's get on board with Stocky then as he goes through Fuon. And here we see a well, kind of a demonstration lap really. Would you mind taking on board with Stocky for a while, guys, just to see how this track looks like?
Well, have a look from Stocky's point of view, and then I reckon afterwards we can have a look from one of the reserve drivers.
Yeah.
You'll probably not notice that much of a difference, but yeah, Stocky is currently, just give obviously the viewers a bit of an idea of who Stocky is. He's a World Championship driver. Normally we say we're not bothered about him, but we'll have a little look. He is currently battling for the World Championship title, and that'll be next week. So that's Wednesday next week. They'll do the World Championship race. So come and watch Stocky beat Dom and Bleeding Sunrise.
No. He didn't do that. He didn't do that last week, though, did he?
We have other ideas.
Stocky pits. This is unfortunate. Stocky pits. I was going to stay on board with him for the next lap, but he pits quite late into the race. So this means a 2-stop strategy by Stocky. We obviously weren't aware of what Stocky was doing because we've not been on board with him. They probably put super soft on. Does he? Does he though?
No.
I think I saw soft.
It's soft on my side. It's soft on my side.
Oh, that's Roadrunner there.
Well, Stocky started the race on super softs, so he's gone super soft.
I want to run down the order then to see what's going on. We have Erna Urchin still running in 4th position with Sertak Karatepe in 3rd. Danny Reelton in 6th. Not really any battles going on.
You might want to go to Ocon Kuze really quickly.
Let's have a look. Here we go then. The Mercedes boys are having a battle. Ocon Kuze, DRS open, but not really gaining any time on Emre Ortil as Ocon Kuze goes wide then and cuts the corner.
Yeah, they both broke late. They both went deep into that corner.
I'm surprised to see though, Steve. Ocon Kuze, DRS, slipstream, and not being able to catch Emre Ortil.
I don't know, maybe these two are in conversation and well, maybe they're discussing things. Maybe he said, I won't overtake you on this lap, I'm going to save some fuel, follow you for a few laps.
He's dropped off now though, Ocon Kuze. He's dropped off now. So we'll have a look at some other battles. Go on, sorry.
You say maybe saving fuel, so under DRS, if it still runs lean, he's not going to lose that much lap time. It saves some fuel.
So I'm having a quick run through the field with the onboard view. I'll switch off to it though. Sertak Karatepe still the leading driver, now only 9 seconds behind with Stocky pitting obviously. I think Sertak Karatepe on the 1-stop strategy, whereas the leading driver is on the 2-stop strategy. So what do you think, guys, that with the leading driver Stocky doing the 2-stop, do you think that confirms that the 2-stop's quicker?
Not necessarily. I think he's just testing it out here because it might be the opposite of what he wants to do next week, so he can rule it out. Because nothing against who he was racing against, but we've got to remember, we haven't got OVERDYKINK racing, we haven't got Mr. Hamilton racing, so the guys that he needs to be beating in the World Championship is not got a true benchmark of where they're at. So it might be a strategy he wants to rule out. Ooh, Emre Ortil is time for the event. I'm not sure what happened, I'll see if I can find out for you.
I'll have a look on the race director to see if anything comes up in terms of incidents. I must say there were a lot of incidents and a lot of corner cutting going on. Oh, I just had a bit of intel that he just crashed at the top of Eau Rouge. Guys, do you have any experience with there? Is it a place where you have experienced a lot of instability?
Well, I've tried it on the pad and on the wheel, and on both. I find it on this game. I find it a very hard corner to take. I found it easier on the Sertak Karatepe as I'm on board with him. leaves the session. So that's well, P1 in the WCR gone for Serta Karatepe. So highly unfortunate with 5 laps to go. I don't know whether that's a disconnection or whether that is a well, some kind of a rage quit, but I can't really see anyone quitting while they're leading the race effectively. So we'll get on board with with the new leader then, after he's indeed in the pits, but he's ghosting. So I don't think he's racing anymore. On board with Erna Urchin then, quite a bit far back, 40 seconds off the lead, and so he was 30 seconds off Serta Karatepe. So I know you said earlier, Steve, that these guys are not easy to well to separate their performances, but in this race it was up until this point. Serta Karatepe clearly being the better driver in this event so far, but it's all fell into the hands of Erna Urchin really. Now running effectively in P1.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how fast you are, if you're not able to get to the finish line with your connection staying connected, it doesn't really matter how quick you are, does it?
No, I mean it's unlucky, but it's we see it as a technical failure of the car, and yeah, as Serta Karatepe does join back. So how does this work, guys? He's in the lead of the Grand Prix.
Yeah.
And he's just joined back. Is he allowed to continue the race now, and will he be invited into the podium interviews, even if he does make it into P1?
Well, I would say, right, this is my opinion, not necessarily the FRR ruling, because it's a reserve race, feel free to come back and carry on driving, right? But if it's a league race, you have to understand that if you're going to rejoin and take control of your car, you're only be doing that to retire it. And if you do that in a reserve race, then you kind of gain respect for retiring your car. But you would understand as well if you wanted to carry on. Now, should we have him in the podium if we finish the race? Well, he's just left the session again, so I think that's answered that question.
Yeah.
But yeah, what are your views on it?
Well, it's a difficult one, really. And seeing as you said, I mean, this is an official session. We do see this as an official league event, as we do with the other leagues, the WC and the WS, and obviously the WSR. If, in my opinion, I wouldn't have invited him to the podium interviews, really, because I mean, if you disconnect, it's a mechanical or technical failure from the car, and that's your race over, really.
What do you think, BLEEDINGSUNRISE?
Yeah, I must agree. It's your duty to have your everything set up right, and to make sure your connection is good, also lag wise, and yeah, you have to make sure that's all sorted out, so you don't really have connection issues. I understand that for some location it might be a bit difficult, but yeah, at least you have to do most of it to counteract it.
Yeah, and just on that connection, from the racing, obviously, when drivers get in contact with Honda Racing, one of the things we do ask for is a screenshot of the TSN speed test, just so that we've got a rough idea of what previous connections are like, and if we see something that may be a possibility of a connection problem, then obviously we can offer some advice on how to help that. I know DP has been very quiet today, that's because you lot can't hear him. He has been very annoying talking to us in our ears during the commentary. And he wants to tell me something else, so just bear with me a moment. Yes, DP?
Okay. Joining it again. So let's see if he's going to take control of his car this time, or if he's allowed to even, because I do believe you only have 5 minutes to do so, and I think we're well past that 5-minute mark. Although we're only about 19, so he potentially could. Yeah, he's still displayed as third, so that's actually how far he was ahead of
not for long. He's coming. Onertium is coming. He is smelling the wind already.
Indeed. So. In this instance, it would be fun if Serta Karatepe would rejoin, but he doesn't. He's left the session again. So that's, I believe, raced over for Serta Karatepe for sure. And that means Erna Urchin is going to take the first position rightfully in this instance, as he's about to overtake Serta Karatepe. His car is obviously ghosted, and with the AI sets it very easy, this really shouldn't be a problem. And there you go then, Erna Urchin into P3, effectively P1 in this event. With only 3 laps to go. And the question is, will this medium last? Probably they will. I think he pitted it, I think in the end of lap 9, lap 10. So that should really not be a problem for an Urchin.
And if I'm correct, Danny Railton is in well, overall P6 now, but if he manages to overtake the retired McLaren, then he will be on the podium in his first race for WCR. That will be quite an achievement.
Between those two, I'm currently sat in second place of the reserve drivers. Is Green Captain. He is just marginally catching up to Erna Urchin, but I don't think he's going to have enough time to actually get close enough to attack. Yeah, he's just passing the other McLaren now, so yeah, he's not going to have enough lap time to catch. These two drivers, by the way, have done different strategies.
Then again, Steve, don't come and take cursing, because if you say that, you know he's...
Yeah. Well, it's 6 seconds, so well, then yeah, it's kind of.
Well, it is doable. 6 seconds. That all depends on what lap they both pit on. But I think they're on the stealth strategy, so that really doesn't count in this instance.
It's different strategies. Green Captain's on a 2-stop strategy.
Is he on a 2-stop? I thought he was on a.
He is.
I thought he was on a 1-stop.
He started on the super softs, then went to soft, then went to medium. Okay. So he's been on the medium for about 11 laps, I think it is. In fact, no, it's 9 laps. So he's been on the medium for 9 laps, whereas Erna Urchin has been on those mediums since lap 7. So he's done 3-4 more laps on them. Near enough.
Let's have a look then, Captain. I know an event, guys, and I'm going to mention my own race, and I don't like doing it. But 2 years ago, I remember I was racing in this, not in this event, I was racing in the WC with Stocky, who was in the lead at that point. He was 10 seconds ahead, but I pitted for the same tyres 2 laps later, and I caught him by the end, within about 3 laps. So we might see Kiram Captain catching up to Erna Urchin. Anyway, guys, have we had any guesses? Can you have a look, Steve, if there are any guesses for question of the day? Because I do know the answer by now. I've looked it up in between your comments.
Before I read out any of the comments on YouTube, what is the question of the day again, and that will give others a chance to give their answers.
The question of the day is, if you complete 1 lap on each track of the calendar, how many corners do you pass? How many corners do all the tracks have combined? Really, that's the question.
Sorry, say that again, because I didn't quite catch that.
Sorry, I'll put it again in a better way. As I can hear Dave laughing in the background. Thank you, Dave. The question is, how many corners do all the Grand Prix have combined? And I mean 1 lap, so not the full race distance. As Serta Karatepe has joined the session once again, but I don't think it's going to allow him to take control of his car. We'll get on board with the car for a minute and see if something does happen. And we see Danny Railton though in the background about to overtake the McLaren for P3 effectively from the WCR guys. And if he can manage this, Danny Railton, that's a great result, despite being quite far off the lead.
I'm just wondering whether he's actually aware about the podium interviews. He may not be expecting an invite into the commentary box.
No. Serta Karatepe leaves once again. I think Serta Karatepe is trying to take control of his car, but I don't think it's letting him. So we'll get on board then with Stocky as he's going through the last sector for the final time in this Grand Prix. Stocky, beautiful race, and he'll have a couple of things learned now for the race next week. Stocky is about to complete the bus stop chicane. There you go then, Stocky taking the win, but not the WCR win. He's taking the win of the World Championship drivers here. P1 for Stocky. Hammer time retires on the last lap. As I want to get on board with another car right now, and it's not letting me, which is really annoying. There you go, F1 Roadrunner in second, but we'll get on board with Erna Urchin, who's going through P1 now with the manner of current captain, not far behind at all at this point.
Say that.
I think he's about 3 or 4 seconds behind, so he has caught him by quite a lot this last lap, Steve, but not enough.
Well, he's had the strategy that could possibly have caught him, and he is pushing very hard. I think the only way he's going to catch him now...
It does look like Erna Urchin is really struggling now, though.
Yeah.
As we see Karen Kepton getting closer and closer each corner, really. But I think it's one lap too late. I think if it would have been one more lap, Karen Kepton would have had a chance to take the win here of the WCR drivers. But it's not going to be, because Erna Urchin is about to run off. No, he's not about to run off. He's about to complete Erna Urchin, the last corner. There you go. And that's Erna Urchin with a brilliant victory. Is he out of fuel? No, he's not. Karen Kepton takes P2. And I want to get on board with Danny Railton for P3 if it allows us to. And there he is, Danny Railton, completing the last corner to take a brilliant P3 on his debut.
Very well done.
That's Danny
Very well
Railton
done.
Sir Karatepe ghosted car. Oh, that's all the cars. That's all the cars that were on the lead lap. So Niels, can you run us through the order?
Well, we've got Stocky that finished the race in first with a 3-second penalty as well. Just point that out. Haha, Stocky. F1 Roadrunner in second place. In third place is Erna Urchin, our highest position reserve driver. Kareem Kaptan in fourth, Danny Railton in fifth, Sertic Kautepe's car finished in sixth, with David Harp seventh, Okan Kuzi eighth, Hammer Time 95 ninth, Drew 10th, Irma Ertel 11th, with Hindle's car 12th, Tampere 13th, Jamie James 14th, Jason 15th. Yeah, so there we are for the finishers. So I want to ask you two a very quick question at this point: one stop or two stop? What's the best way to go?
It's a difficult one, really. I mean, the one stop could potentially be slower than the two stop, but then again, you also need to take into account that you can get traffic on the way with a two stop. So I think it'll be a very close call.
Yeah, okay. Just have a quick chat between yourself while I invite the guys into the podium. Chat.
Zo, dan kunnen we toch overgaan naar Nederlands, denk ik.
Ja, dat kunnen we doen.
What was that? I didn't understand that at all. That
No,
was
that's fine.
me.
That's a bit of code language there. Is it Geordie? I don't believe it is. Now, obviously, me and
we swanky what's he say? We swanky blazer like.
What's that?
What?
It's an advert over here with a Geordie accent, and someone thinks it's Chinese or something weird. Danish.
It,
That isn't even remotely Danish. It doesn't look like it. Yeah.
Obviously, us in Holland having a lot of different adverts than you guys in England. Although I think a lot of it is the same as well. A lot of Dutch TV programs are the same as the English ones, just with subtitles.
I don't have Danny Railton on my friends list, so bear with me while I just try and...
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Danny Railton's left off, so I hope he is going to join.
Oh, I do have him. Sorry, there he is. Yep. And that has now been sent. I do have him.
Might be an idea to put your glasses on, Steve, next time.
I've got them on. That shows how bad my eyesight really is.
Yeah, I know.
So
that all happens when you age, innit? So.
Yeah, as these guys come in, obviously they need to make sure they set their microphones to always allowed. But to Dom and Bleeding Sunrise, I make sure you got your questions ready, because I'm not going to be asking any. So it will be over to you two. And also,
well, we don't
Danny,
want you to ask any, so that's nice.
Yeah, it's the first time with Danny on the podium. So Danny, make sure you've got your microphone set to always allowed, so that we can hear you on the broadcast as well. And Dominic, over to you. Oh, hang on, we're still missing a driver.
Waiting for Karim Kaptan.
We are still waiting for Karim Kaptan. I'll send him another invite out, so please bear with us for a moment. Yeah, it's rather unfortunate that he's not in yet. The invites have been sent to him, and he's got another one now as well. He's probably busy chatting away to somebody else in the lobby. Well, while we're waiting for Kiram, because I can see that he is chatting away in the lobby, the winner of the race was, not the winner of the race, sorry, the leading reserve driver was Erna Urchin. So, Dom, if you want to crack on with some questions with Erna. And while we wait for Kieran, you might as well crack on.
I will. Erna Urchin, good race. Pulled off the one stop, but there's only one question I want to ask you really. What went through your mind when you saw Sertac Karatepe has left the session?
I was sad because we were dreaming 1 and 2 for McLaren's. Winning the race is not important for me. We want to make it 1 and 2.
Did I hear you just say winning the race is not important to you?
Of course, it's important.
Is that really the right mindset to have, though?
No. Of course, it's important, but he had some connectivity issues. He is faster than me. If I was faster than him, I will be happy.
Yeah. Yeah, that was unfortunate for Sertac Karatepe. But anyway, talk us through your race. It was quite busy at the start, and then it all seemed to sort of die out, and you didn't have any battles. So talk us through it.
Was that question for me?
That question was for you. You're the winner, so we're still with you.
I couldn't understand the question. Please repeat it.
I was asking you how your race went, because obviously there was a lot going on at the start, and then it was getting more and more cleared out, and not a lot of cars around you later on in the race. So can you talk us through your race? What happened, and well, give us a short summary, really.
Yes. I was on super soft at the start of the race. I wasn't thinking actually 1 pit stop. I was thinking 2 pit stops. But my medium tires went very well. And just 5 or 6 laps before the race ends, I decided not to pit again. And that makes me a little more up in the field. When Sertac was left the game, I was on the first position in the WCR drivers.
Okay, so Niels, then on to you. Any questions for Erna Urchin?
Yeah, I have a question. At one point in the race, you had a big fight with Temper, who is the world champion currently. Did you know that, and did it affect you?
No, I didn't know that. I'm just driving as fast as I can, and I was just driving.
Yeah, was it just another battle for you, or was he especially hard for you to beat or compete against?
Yeah, it was very hard, and he passed me then. I couldn't do anything.
Right. Thank you very much.
Steve,
Thank you.
Do you have any questions? I know you were saying you weren't going to ask any questions, but I don't know if anything's popped up now.
I only have a question for all 3 of them at the end, so yeah, crack on.
So we'll crack on then with second place finisher, Kerem Captain. Niels, I'd like you to take the lead with this one and ask him your questions first.
All right.
Is he not? Is he not there yet? Okay, well that's a very short interview. Thank you, Niels. Thank you, Kerem Captain.
If you would like, I would like to interview Danny.
If you are there, Kerem Captain, and watching the live stream, you can still join this chat party or put anything you want on the YouTube video, and we'll have Steve talk through it later on. As we then go to our third place finisher, and on his debut, Danny Railton. So Niels, as Kerem Captain wasn't there, do you mind doing this one?
Yeah, sure. So Danny, very well done on your first drive in front row racing. How do you feel with your third place?
If he's talking, he might have his mute button pressed if he's talking. So Danny, yeah, try pressing your mute button again and try talking once more. See if we can hear you. Okay, we've got no volume coming from Danny Railton. I'll tell you what, Nels, ask the question anyway. Oh, hang on, here he comes.
Oh,
he's found his microphone. Danny, hello, how are you?
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
we can.
So Danny, did you hear my question?
No, you have to repeat it.
Yeah, so very well done on your third place on your first front row racing on your debut. Yeah, very well done. How do you feel?
I was quite happy with the way the race went, to be honest. There was quite a few people that was coming off. I just tried being consistent, really, and just tried getting through the pack.
Yeah, is that your main objective to be consistent, or are you more of an adventurous driver, so to speak?
Well, I always look to win the race, but you always need to be consistent, because if people are making mistakes and there's no assist, then you've just got to be patient, really.
Yeah. Well, that's a really good philosophy. At one point in the race, you had a big battle with Hindle, who's an experienced world champion reserve driver. How did you feel about that fight?
Who was that with, sorry?
With Hindle, I think.
Yeah, I remember that. I don't know whether he was on fresher softs than me, but I noticed that I was faster than in the corners. And, we was just battling for a couple of laps. He took me over DRS, then I overtook him again, and it was just vice versa, to be honest, for ages. And then I went in the pits, and then that was the end of that. I think he retired back. Did he crash into the pit lane?
No,
I think he retired.
No, he just retired.
He just opted to
He
retire.
just retired. I thought he'd gone in the pits and crashed into the pit lane, to be honest. I didn't know, and then I went in the next lap.
Yeah, I think I was on board with him when he pitted and he just retired.
Right.
Well, yeah, well done. And do you have any other remarks about your race or any events that occurred?
It was quite uneventful, to be honest, apart from that battling with the driver you just said. Like I say, it was just consistency. I'm just glad that I finished the race, to be honest, and didn't write my car off or come into any clash with anyone.
Yeah, that's always a good point to not crash the car.
I'm looking forward to my next race.
I've got a question, if that's all right.
Dave, are you?
People can hear me now. Yeah, people can hear me now. See, I have been here bugging them all the way through the event. I have got one quick question for Danny. Danny, I believe you're signed up for the World Series Reserves event tomorrow.
Yeah, I am.
You are? Okay, so you signed up for that race tomorrow. It's going to be slightly different than today's event. It's going to be a little busier, I think. So with you being signed up for both events, was this kind of a test session for that as well?
Well, I always had in my head that I wanted to drive with no assist, so this was my main priority, was this league. Obviously, I'm looking to try and advance into the top league, but I'm just happy that I'm in both, really, because I've been in other leagues before and not really been happy with, the other assists and bits and bobs, and I've never been really happy in any league I've been in. But this seems to be like a good league that I'm in now, and this league that I'm in tonight is the main priority that I was looking for, was to drive full, no assists, as realistic as possible, simulation driving, and see what I've got.
Okay, thank you very much.
Well, can I just ask Danny a quick question there then? So tomorrow, you're allowed to put assists on. Will you be putting any assists on, or will you keep it as you have done today to no assists?
What I found out over the years is if you're driving with people that have got assist on and you try to drive with no assist on, they just have the advantage on the set-off with the wheel spin, in the corners. They can brake later when you're battling with them. If I choose to battle with someone and I've got no assist and they can just brake deeper and later into the corner, and they just have the advantage over me. So if I'm in the league tomorrow, I'll be driving with the ABS and medium traction control on.
Okay. Right, I've got a question then for both drivers that are with us. So that's Erna and Danny. Actually, Danny may not be able to answer this, but one of our co-commentators today, Bleeding Sunrise, would normally have been on the grid in the World Championship Reserves. He's been offered a seat in the World Championship that came available and has accepted it. That's why he wasn't on the circuit. If a seat was offered to one of you two, what would your first thoughts be on that?
Yes,
Who's
for
going
me.
to first?
Yeah, Erna first.
Yeah, I will think that I should be training more and more because the drivers in the World Championship are very fast and faster 1 or 2 seconds per lap from me. I think I should train more and more.
Well, what you've got to bear in mind with that is the leading cars in the World Championship are a couple of seconds faster. Not every driver. So
Yes.
the drivers near the back, I would probably say you're going to be faster than them. So I'm nothing against the people that finished at the back in last few races. I'm not saying anything at any particular drivers, but there's certain drivers that will know who they are, that are not at the same pace as the leaders. And you'd be giving a lot of guys out there a good battle, a good run for the money. And if I was you and I was offered a seat, I'd jump at it because you never know when you're going to get offered the next one. Danny, obviously you're very new to us. Obviously you want to get into that main league like you've just said. And the only way in there at the moment is when a driver makes a seat vacant, unless they're unavailable for a race and offer you a temporary reserve drive. But if a seat did come permanently available and someone did decide to select you, what would your thoughts be at this stage, even though you've only just joined front row racing?
I'd snap it up like a shot.
Yeah.
The bigger the challenge, the more intense it gets. The bigger the challenge, that I'd like that more, to be honest. The faster the drivers, the more realistic it is to me, and the more intense the challenges. So,
Yeah, good answer.
bring it on.
Okay, that was my answer. Dom, unless you've got anything else for these two, you need to ask them the question of the day.
I have not got anything else than the question of the day, so we'll crack on with it. Danny Wilson's left. Okay, I'll ask the question to Erna Urchin then. Erna Urchin, the question of the day is: how many corners do all the 20 tracks on the F1 2017 calendar have got combined?
All of the corners in the season.
No, I'm not talking about full race distance. I'm talking about one lap. So if you do one lap around Australia, one lap around China, and so on, how many corners is that in total?
Oh, just a guess. 300.
300. Okay. Steve, have we got anything on YouTube? Any guesses?
Well, there's been quite a few comments on there. I'm quite surprised that Drew's not been on there, so obviously his connection was that bad he's not been able to get onto YouTube.
Alright.
But we've got a guess on there of 423.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Do you still want to have any guesses? I'm talking to Steve, Niels, and Dave.
I'm sticking with 400.
Alright. Niels, what's your final answer?
I think I said 320 or 350.
I wrote down 320.
Yeah, 320 then.
And then Dave, what's your guess?
My guess was the 423.
Okay. Well, here we go then. The answer is 334. So I believe that is Niels being the closest to that.
Thank you.
All right. Well, that was question of the day. It's still quite a lot, and I was surprised at how close people actually were to it.
Yeah. At this point, I want to say a great big thank you to Dominic OVERDYKINK for doing the broadcast today, and our co-commentator, who's new to the commentary box, and Bleeding Sunrise. You'll be able to see both these drivers on circuit next week in the World Championship race. But tomorrow we've got the World Series reserves, and we're going to have some different people in the commentary box for that. So I'm not going to say who. You're going to have to switch on and watch us live at 7:25 as long as YouTube lets us on at the right time. 7:25 tomorrow, World Series reserves, where the drivers are allowed to use their assists. This weekend, I believe there's no project cars. On the week ahead post, it does say that there is an event on Friday, but I think Casey is unavailable for that. So we may be looking for somebody to host the Friday session of Project Cars. So if you are interested in hosting that session, get in touch with us and we'll change it to your name that's hosting the session on Friday. DP, anything else to cover over?
Nope, that's it. Well done.
Okay, so thank you very much for joining us at Front Row Racing. And Dom, if you want to say the final goodbyes, and then you can stop the broadcast.
I will. Well, thank you all for watching round 13 of the WCR, the Belgian Grand Prix. And we hope you tune in tomorrow and next week for the WSR, and next week then for the WC and the WS. Thanks from all of us at Front Row Racing, and a good night.